Hey Scorpio. So this month I decided to be in the comfort of my living room and I really like it. Considering it's Taurus season, get to face the windows even though there's not much of a view, but it's just nice. And I'm just kind of giving you the rundown of the vibe lately. I feel like it's spring cleaning time and you may feel that way too. A lot of things. So the solar eclipse is this week and this will be out right before that energy starts to really hit us, and it's going to be on the 30th, April 30th. And it's very intimate for you. It's the sign across from you, but intuitively this is a time of you to not hold back when you want to share your feelings, your thoughts. And the Lovers, of course, naturally can bring us to relationship or any relationship in your life, like showing love, right? But there's this also this building, it's a different kind of connection. Some of you can meet someone and the connection feels like otherworldly, and for some people they might think, and for some of you, if you're not accustomed to having good things in your life or receiving good things in your life and being happy and knowing that constant feeling, it could almost feel like it's too good to be true, and I don't want to assume that of you. But then there's also the remembering of, and I don't condone any like toxic relationships or anything like that, but then there's also this very overwhelming sense of you found someone, or you're very vocal, and maybe both of you are very vocal right away, how content you feel around each other. And that's a huge thing, to be able to feel relaxed with someone. And that brings you to this. It's so interesting because I just did the Leo reading before, I did the reading Leo before you, and they had these cards, but they are in reverse positions. So the King of Swords is very much this person who has learned through experience, who has learned and had to come to an understanding to perhaps use philosophically to perhaps teach others, or whatever you feel like life is about, right? So the depth of this goes to the Five of Cups. So that's you understanding why for so long you haven't been able to move on. And for some of you, it is that feeling like this is real, like this is happening, this is a great thing. You want to express how you feel. The other person seems very open to receiving it, and it's vice versa. And then we have at the bottom of the deck the Hierophant and the Three of Cups that come next. And this is very much your traditions, this is your values, this is what you believe in, this is a lot of different things. This is also Taurus. And what I mean by different things, it's with the Three of Cups in hand. So we go from the 5 to the 3. You could be very much in deep thought about what your life is going to look like in the future, what you want it to look like, what tradition means to you. How you want to celebrate this love that you feel, and these feelings you have for this person, and how this person what this person has for you. For others of you, it could be that you're very vocal at work, or something's coming out where you feel like you need to say something and people are willing to listen to you. You're also very much more secure in yourself in a way that you might reflect back onto times in your life where you weren't this secure, this comfortable in yourself, this content with your life, or this not attached, because you understand this feeling that's happening. Because Taurus and Scorpio, when you talk about them, you can't not talk about them without like some type of relating to obsession or attachment. But there's something so distinctly that being in a relationship, or having a friendship, and this for most of you is a relationship that feels so equal or so compatible, and there's a lot of receptivity on both sides, there's a lot of giving on both sides, when it's very mutual and the lighting keeps changing, that even your external attachments onto how far you want to go. And you will, like, thankfully, you will have much to celebrate. You'll have great change and lots of more adventure, especially with this open-ended question of the intimacy and tradition and what it looks like to you to lead that for yourself and for what you want in your life. And you realize how much more fun you have than we have the Fool, how much love you have to give, how much you can change things and shift things in the way you want to without thinking you need to have too much control over it all. It can be more of an adventure. Love, deep love, true love is adventure. It's growing, it's experience, right? There's so much more to it. And I think that this is a big time where you begin to let go of whatever has held you back from experiencing this, because it feels safe to do so now, perhaps, or there's a sense of security in it, which is also the Hierophant and what the King of Swords can provide when learned. So even though your past may have been different, or whatever you've experienced before was different, this is when something changes in this way, especially so intimately. You've learned about the cycles that you go through, because we all have them. There's some people that won't go through the same ones as you, but because you're such a sign of depth and connection, but connection not just on like the surface level, like someone who can be very loyal when in relationships and takes those relationships like really seriously. It's the way that you love someone so intensely, because when you really are in that zone of loving yourself and giving that to yourself, nothing can stop you. There's so much power to what you hold and to the energy you give anyone in your life. And that's why now at this point, most, like, whoever's watching this, most likely you recognize that you have the power to really change your life, and you have the energy to change your life when you have this, and you give yourself this opportunity, and you let yourself roam your mind, roam the earth. Mercury is going into Aries very soon, but we'll get to that into the second part, which will be in a Patreon link below, where we look at the cards and get more involved. But this is just what comes up as I pull out the cards. You'll have a lot of energy. And at the beginning of the month, you find yourself maybe communicating more, but by the end of the month, it's a lot of action. It's a lot of expanding in your mind, expanding in your life. It's freedom to enjoy more. It's, I have this and now I can experience more. It's not actually constricting me. It's giving me license to live so intimately with life, if you haven't already done so. And it could be vice versa, so it could be a job that's leading you into relationship, but I think for most of you, you're thinking about, commitment, you're thinking about what the next steps are, how you want to approach that, what that will look like, and you're unafraid. Some like shackles, like maybe internal shackles, or maybe attachments, better word than shackles. I know it can be harsh for some people. I'm sorry about that. We have 3 to 3. We have 2 5s. Oh, we have actually 3 3s. So you're giving yourself license, permission, freeing yourself from whichever way you've held yourself back before. Maybe you didn't think you were someone who wanted more adventure or change as much as you do, and now you're ready for it, because you're placing that somewhere else because it hasn't been working. So sometimes we place these things that can be seen as negative in certain pockets and certain facets in our lives, or it's been placed there by whatever we learned and however we responded or reacted to situations growing up until this point. And now you have this ability to utilize something when you finally become aware of it enough. Like, there's layers of awareness, which is very much meditation, and that's exactly what's happening in your life. Most people don't realize they're actually meditating when in certain ways. Some people aren't, but let's get back to this. you know. So when you finally place that somewhere else where it can be used as a strength, especially for your goals, your vision, whatever that is for your life, Taurus season gives you all of this love. Taurus season gives you what only Tauruses can give you and give someone. And if there's a Taurus in your life, they're very much on the same page as you. It's this luscious, luxurious selfishness in a way that feels good. It's beautiful. It expresses itself eloquently. Oh, actually, Mercury is in Taurus. I'm sorry about that. It was in Aries. So this will be about something a little different. I think it's Mars that's moving into Aries. Sorry about that. And I think Mars being in Pisces, Venus being in Pisces right now, and Venus will move into Aries. There is this, and even the cards are just saying, like, there's just overwhelming sense of change in living in a way that you may have always wanted or have thought of. Or maybe you watch things where this provokes this thought, or listen to people that provoke these thoughts, and then you're finally able to set out on these thoughts and these ideas because you're no longer held back by whatever it was that you didn't think you could have before. The eclipses open up your this intimacy within yourself, with life. And most Scorpios have a very much a creative side or a very passionate side, regardless of what they're deciding to do. And that's something that you're offered. Here we have more sixes. It's three, there's multiples of three, so 3 threes, and then 3 sixes, which is 3 plus 3, right? So all this is going to add to your life, add to your confidence, add to your not needing attachment to move forward, to let go, to be okay with how the eclipses decide to change your life. If you decide so choose to move on and move forward with them and take the Fool, the Magician, and the 3 of Wands and go for it. And there's always more. It's timing. So you have to learn recognizing when the right time is. There may be a conversation that provokes it, there may be a situation that provokes it, but I think ultimately it's not about it being provoked more than it is about it being time, and you'll just feel it. It's like something will turn off and you'll be like, okay, I'm ready. And this month wants you to trust that more. So in the beginning of the month, you might feel a lot more communicative. In the end of the month, it's very much action-oriented and receiving. And we've been talking about this a lot. It's receiving what you give, the very thorough, very efficient way about you that you now realize has its freedoms and has its perks and has its abilities that only Taurus can help you accentuate. And it's really good. It's beautiful. Give yourself permission to step out of the norm or follow whatever it is that you've wanted to, and finally just say, okay, I get it now. I'm moving forward. Taurus is very much connecting the physical and the spiritual. This Venusian energy is not playing around this month. So if you need some comfort, find it for yourself. Maybe it's in your home and being more creative in your space and moving things around so you like it. Maybe it's going somewhere where you feel like that part of you moves and your brain just keeps working, and where you feel good and protected and safe. Because it might feel a little different this month than it has before, but it helps you move forward with what you need. All right, Scorpio, we'll take a look at the second part, which will be in a link below. All information to work with me one-on-one is below as well. And I'll see you next month. And your full moon also next month. All of this will kind of roll out, and it'll make more sense if you let it play out. But for the most part, you probably see it coming anyway, or feel it coming.